Looking at the Markets with David Modell.
Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today we're going to be talking about an investment opportunity in the space of nighttime snacking. It's reported that 70% of Americans snack at night on a regular basis, and the most popular choices tend to be both unhealthy and disruptive to sleep quality. With us today is Sean Folkson, founder and CEO of NightFood. NightFood is pioneering the nighttime nutrition category, a category many believe will be a billion-dollar category within the next few years. NightFood is publicly traded on the OTCQB under the symbol NGTF. So, welcome, Sean Folkson, to Looking at the Markets.
Thank you so much, David. Happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. So, I saw on a recent filing where you guys state that consumers spend $1 billion a week on nighttime snacks. Is the market really that big?
It's a big number, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. You touched on some of the stats. I mean, here's the deal. 70% of Americans snack at night on a regular basis. And the snack industry in the U.S. is almost 120 billion. And about 44% of that consumption happens in that short window between dinner and bedtime. And so what you've got over $50 billion a year being spent on snacks that are consumed in that short window between dinner and bed. Most of the stuff people choose tends to not only be unhealthy, but disruptive to sleep quality. And that's where the opportunity comes in for night food. And at night, research shows that we're biologically programmed to crave the least healthy stuff, and that's why people are drawn to it, and that's the problem that we're solving in the marketplace. More and more research is being conducted about this link between nutrition and sleep, and we think that over the next several months and couple of years, in addition to our marketing efforts, as more research is done, that'll also shine light on what we're doing and bring it kind of to the forefront of the consumer awareness.
And you think many consumers will shift to nighttime specific snacks?
Well, look, we don't know what percentage of that $50 billion will ultimately convert over to nighttime specific. Even if we're wrong in our estimates, I mean, even 1% of that is a $500 million consumer spend. But what we do know is that the majority of consumers now do look for snacks that provide some secondary benefit. In other words, they're not just looking for great taste or to fill their belly. They're also looking for a secondary benefit. We know that most people tend to be dissatisfied with the quality and quantity of their sleep. And we know that most people that are eating ice cream or cookies or chips at night, they know they shouldn't be making those choices. And they would probably, we believe, like a better option where they could still satisfy those cravings, right? Because people don't want to give that up, but satisfy those cravings, but do it in a way where they don't have the guilt or the disrupted sleep or the stress that they just ruined, a whole day of healthy eating choices in 7 minutes in front of the TV. So, we definitely believe this is going to be a big market. We think it's going to be billions. Could we be wrong and it caps out at, 500 or 600 million? Absolutely. Is that still plenty of room for us as a small young company to pioneer a category? Absolutely. And the interesting thing is that the big consumer goods companies, whether it's Hershey's or Kellogg's or General Mills, there's so much M&A activity going on in the better for you snack space. You've got just 2 days ago, news came out that a company called RX Bar out of Chicago has agreed to be acquired by General Mills for $600 million. And they're on track to do about 120 million this year. And these multiples, these 4, 5, 6 times top line revenues, these are the multiples where the acquisitions are coming or the public companies are trading. It's like Skinny Pop, popcorn, which is publicly traded under the symbol BETR. They're trading at 4 to 6 times top line, and these are for, I don't want to dismiss the products because these are very successful products, but they're not products that own a category. So, when you talk about those kind of multiples, and then you look at the fact that we're creating this category, it's easy to see that the valuation will be there. If our company, and when our company gets to revenues of $2 million a month, you're doing $20-25 million a year, it's easy to see the valuation that we would be carrying could easily be well into the 6 figures. And the point that I'm making is the big snack companies, they know how much is being consumed at night. They know it's almost half. And once we show traction, those companies don't know, just like we don't know, how big this market will be. Will it be a few hundred million? Will it be a couple of billion? And that will also, we believe, drive a lot of interest from the big consumer goods companies, because they will not want to take the chance of missing out on what could easily be a multi-billion-dollar category.
Wow, impressive stuff. So talk to me a little about what's been going on inside the company recently.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic 6 months, and we think the next 6 months are going to be even more exciting. We recently had some revenue milestones, some record-breaking months. July of this year and August, each one was a record-setting month for us in terms of direct-to-consumer sales. Most of that was through Amazon. And then in September, and that was all, we were just setting the table for our true e-commerce launch. So in September, so just a few weeks ago, the company that we hired to help us bring NightFood to full launch direct-to-consumer via e-commerce is a group called Common Thread Collective. And they do the e-commerce for brands that like Lululemon and the North Face, but they also work with startup brands like ours, and they've helped many young companies scale to millions of dollars a year and north of $1 million a month. And we think they're going to be able to do the same thing with the NightFood brand. So that really just, our new website just launched, I think, within the last 2 weeks. And in addition to that, we've brought on, and this was just news that was just announced, one of the leading sleep researchers in the country, Dr. Michael Grandner out of the University of Arizona, has agreed to join our scientific advisory board. And we think that this is a move. Advisors don't typically, I don't think, inspire a lot of excitement sometimes in the investment community, but the reality of it is, with a product like ours, where we're making a very specific brand promise to the consumer, because the real differentiator about NightFood is not that it tastes great, not that it satisfies cravings, but that it's specifically formulated for nighttime. And the key difference there is that, well, what happens at night is that you go to sleep, and that's the real difference. So by bringing on a sleep researcher like Dr. Grandner, it gives us a level of credibility in the marketplace, and also direct to that consumer. One thing that can be missing sometimes, a lot of people do want to solve this problem. If they're eating the ice cream, they know they shouldn't be. They should be eating something better. But when they come across our website, the question I think that comes up to people is, well, why should we trust this brand? Why should we believe that this is actually more appropriate if I'm going to snack at night? And when you bring on an expert like Dr. Grandner, and we do intend to expand our scientific advisory board, he's going to be, he's the first member, and he's basically going to be the quarterback, we believe. But, the key thing for a consumer at that point of decision, at that point of purchase, is giving them reason to believe, giving them that credibility that shows them that they're in good hands, that we are a company that takes our brand promise very seriously. And, we think that the addition of Dr. Grandner and the building out of the scientific advisory board will have a direct impact on our online conversion rates, which will, of course, have a direct impact on revenues and profitability and growth.
Is NightFood literally the only company addressing this consumer problem?
Literally, we are. It's an amazing thing. People ask, well, why haven't any of the other big consumer goods companies done this before? And the answer is pretty simple, and it really gets back to the M&A activity that we talked about a few minutes ago. Is that these big companies, they don't develop new products. They don't try to establish new categories or build new trends. They don't do R&D anymore. They do M&A. And so the interesting thing is that we are the only company out there. There's nobody else doing it, and that's what makes this so amazing. Because if you believe that the category is coming, right? If you understand all the research that says what we eat impacts how we sleep, and that's irrefutable. So if you believe that, if you believe the size of the market, right, which is, I mean, the stats are there. If you believe that people care about being healthier and sleeping a little bit better, then all those things point to the fact that this category, in my opinion, is inevitable. It has to come into existence. There has to be a solution for people's nighttime cravings that's going to be more sleep friendly and more appropriate for nighttime. So the inevitability of the category, combined with the fact that we're the only company out there that's doing anything about it. You know, I see investors, and I'm on the message boards, and they're like, well, you know, marijuana is going to be this, or this other thing is going to be that, cryptocurrency. And so they're placing bets because there's 50, there's 100, there's 500 entrants in any of these spaces, and people believe the category is coming, but then they have to pick their horse. Well, the beauty of nighttime snacking is if you believe the category is coming, there's only one horse running that race, and that's NightFood. And it should be very easy for anybody who believes in the category to get behind what we're doing. And that's the amazing thing. Obviously, as we grow, we expect that there will be some competition. But you know, typically when the competition is deciding whether or not to come in, they've got a buy versus build decision that they need to make. So they're going to decide, are they going to compete with us, or are they going to try to acquire us? And there's a lot of companies out there with deep pockets. So we think that this is going to play out in a very interesting way. We think the category is definitely coming. We think we're going to be in the pole position. And we think that any brand, any consumer goods company that chooses to make this acquisition is basically going to be getting handed this multi-billion-dollar subcategory on a silver platter.
The website is nightfood.com. The ticker symbol is NGTF. I've been speaking with Mr. Sean Folkson. Thank you so much for joining me today on Looking at the Markets. Mr. Folkson, how can people order NightFood products, and how can people contact you for more information?
Yeah, so from an investor standpoint, anybody can reach us at investors@nightfood.com, or they can call the toll-free number, which is 888-888-NIGHT. That's 888-888-6444, I believe, but double check it on your phone. And online, certainly, they could go to nightfood.com to learn more about our products, or they can go to Amazon, look at our reviews, and order product there as well.
Well, I hope to make you a regular guest here on Looking at the Markets, Mr. Sean Folkson, CEO and founder of NightFood. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to talk to you again really soon.
Thanks so much, David. I appreciate it.